Last year, the management of our plant decided to improve the processes in production to optimize the operation of equipment. We are engaged in the production of pharmaceuticals and have been on the pharmaceutical market for more than 20 years. We use various pharmaceutical equipment that meets the requirements and standards of GMP to produce our products. At a general meeting on the development of production, the leading engineer of the analytical laboratory proposed to update the analytical and laboratory equipment. Using analytical equipment, monitor moisture level readings, melting time, transparency, dissolution, hardness parameters, thickness, viscosity, many analytical operations to determine the quality of raw materials, finished products. We conducted on technically obsolete laboratory equipment, which often did not provide indicators of verification. I have been working at the plant for 10 years as a leading production technologist. I was tasked by the management to find and buy scales that are designed to determine the weight of preparations. I started the search, having clarified the necessary parameters with the leading engineer of the analytical laboratory. He suggested I choose modern laboratory scales with automatic control. The engineer advised me to first contact the manufacturers of the equipment. They provide warranty service, drawings, instructions for use, install manufactured equipment. I followed his advice. I chose one company in Italy, which produces pharmaceutical equipment, went to their website, and wrote a letter, in which I indicated the desired parameters and the capabilities of the machine. I didn't specify a particular unit. I wanted to see what they could offer me. A week later I got the answer that they do not make laboratory scales, but they can develop and produce it, if requested by the end of next year. That was too long for us, so I decided to look for equipment from other manufacturers. I found a company on the internet from Russia, which produces scales and other laboratory equipment. I called them and asked whether they had a machine for determining the weight of preparations. They answered that they had such a machine. The manager asked for my phone number and said she would call back in the evening when she checked with an engineer of her company about the capabilities of the scales. However, she did not call in the evening. I contacted them the next day. The manager said she had forwarded the request to the design department and she would get back to me when she got an answer. This seems strange to me. When do I wait for an answer? How long to wait for an answer? Not a business-like approach to the customer. After a series of failures, I gave up looking for scales on my own. Then I remembered that at the Forum of Producers of Equipment for the Pharmaceutical Industry in Moscow, I met with a specialist who was engaged in selection and supply of laboratory equipment for production of medicines. I found his business card, and before contacting him I decided to check whether he really specializes in the supply of equipment for the pharmaceutical industry. In order to do this I found his website and thoroughly studied the information on it. I liked that the website was up to date, with video clips of the equipment and lots of contacts for communication. I also noticed that the website had been around since 2003. The company had been on the equipment supply market for a long time, and that is a good reason to say that it was successful. I called the manager. He said he remembered me and was happy to hear from me again. I told him that I was looking for a modern laboratory scale with simple automatic controls. He suggested a machine option that was popular with customers and proven in pharmaceutical manufacturing. I agreed to consider it. The manager emailed me the passport and the instruction manual for the equipment. He also offered to perform a turnkey delivery. I liked the recommended variant of the scales, and I agreed with the management. A week later we concluded a contract for the supply of laboratory scales, and 20 days after concluding the contract the manager called me and told me that the equipment was ready for delivery within a week. The equipment was as I wanted it to be, with automatic controls, simple and compact. The scales provided accurate determination of the weight of the drug from 0.01 to 500 grams. The laboratory engineer and I, including myself, were satisfied with the proposed version of the scales. I realized that I had made the right choice of an expert to supply the equipment. Real professionals pay attention to details, and I was lucky to find such a person when selecting the equipment.